Right, so that's the blocking done. I'm going to leave the stems because I'm probably going to use pastel pencils for those to mark out. Otherwise, that's it. As you can see, it is getting pretty dark outside, so I'm going to stop for the evening and we will continue tomorrow, where we will reinforce things like the vase and the base, and then we will start working our colours into the leaves and the flowers and get some more details in. So I will see you shortly. Okay, so we're back and I've changed angle because this is a different day and I've had to move the room around for some unwanted guests, as we are getting a home report done and therefore everything has to be hidden. So we're back and we are going to be working on the flower heads today. So I'm going to start with the purple ones just because I like them the best. But I want to get some pink tones in as well as the purples. So obviously I've already got this gorgeous dark base, but it's not as dark as you think. So I'm going to bring up my colours here and just flick around or get rid of the thing. So trusty plate. Let's start with the dark. I kind of want it dark here. Oh yeah, that's not really going to be dark on here, is it? Well, it's the darkest colour and I want to reinforce it, so you can't see it very well, but trust me, it's there. And I want my lightest colours up here, so this is a kind of mid colour. I'm going to bring in from down here. Oh, and try not to escape into the green too much. So I want a block there. I want a gap here where that petal stops. And then another one there where it goes down. And take some of this purple into the stem. And then around here. Like that. What do we think? It's a gorgeous colour, isn't it? Yeah, I really like this one. And we want to do the same on this one. This one's a little bit tighter, so I always tend to like to do my medium colour on the outside, just because it gives a really nice shape and colour tone to what we want to do. This one I want to come up here, and then that's the gap there. And that's where we're going, like that. So always straight away you can start to see the differences. And what do I want to do? I want to get some pink in, but I want to get quite a dark pink. So this is one of the darker pinks that I've got. I can go darker, can't I? Yeah. Yeah, I can go darker. So let's do this. Yeah, I don't want to do it there, but I do want to do it right on the edge there. Up. And I've got a darker, a kind of madder, I've got the madder red, which we know, but I think it's too dark for what I'm looking for. So I want to keep this as the dark colour there and add some pink in. There. I don't want to add too much pink, I only want it up the top, if you know what I mean. Like that. I'm not going to put any pink on that one, but we're going into our next lightest purple, which is another mid-tone purple, but you'll see the difference almost immediately. Remember, that's our gap, so keeping that there. So that's our mid-light colour. Don't worry, we've got an even lighter colour to go. On this one, I'm going to bring most of this up here. So this is our lighter. That bit's our gap. Then we're going a slightly more pinky purple. This is one of my Blue Earth ones, and it's lighter again. But I don't want to do too much realistically. I just want to tapping the end just so I can get some light on the end here. Like that. Right, so that's one of them. Like I said, I'm going to get some lighter colour up here, and I'm just touching the top and bringing it down. Nothing complicated, apart from when I do that. Too enthusiastic. But it's okay, we can rub most of it out. Remember, we've only done a base colour on the leaves, so we'll be going over it, it won't matter. I want to go back in with the dark and just bring back some of the bits that we don't want to miss. And just add another line in here, just because I wanted slightly more petal definition on that one, like that. Right, let's also make it a bit darker at the bottom here. Like that. Yeah, I think I'll do the same here. These ones are the front ones, remember, so I don't want too dark. That's a bit better. I kind of like that better. Just to give it a bit of darkness at the bottom. There we go. Just gonna highlight these pinks a little bit more, or I've lost them, and just make them a little brighter, just because they add such a gorgeous contrast. Like that. Right, so I'm gonna leave the purples there and probably work on the yellows. Just what I'm trying to do is I'm working from my most darkest saturated colours upwards, and yes, whilst I'm working with the lighter colours on each flower, I'm working through my flowers from dark to light, and the purple ones are the darkest. The yellows are kind of your medium saturation, with the white being high saturation but also light tone, so your lightest value. Sure. Back to the yellows. Obviously we've got this gorgeous yellow down at the moment, which is effectively our darkest colour. However, I am going to improve that with what I think is a brown, just because, like these, I want the slit, but I don't want too much, so I'm gonna just indicate it slightly, like that. And this one, actually want kind of two. And then this one, I actually want two very fine ones either side, like that, rounded. And the darker colour, the stem there, like that. And the same here. They're always more green and darker along the stem, and some of the colour tends to bleed into the stem, which then becomes a very green, so I'm not too fussed about it. This I'm just going to add the brown to this just to mellow that out a wee bit. And the same on that. There we go. Right, let's work on our yellage. We've got several different yellows here. So we've got the lighter ones and our mid-tone ones. So let's see what looks, yeah, so that's a mid. This is our lightest. So, and this one, oh, that's our fun one. Right, let's start with this one, because this is kind of akin to the base colour. Same on this side, we're just following the shapes. I'm doing the same on all of them. We're just giving each one a slightly different shape to the flower head and also to the petals. Like that. Like that there. This is our blue earth yellow. It's more yellow, so it's slightly darker. I'm just gonna bring that in, mixing with the brown at the bottom. I'll do the same here. And the same there. You won't really see it very well. And we've got this one, which is lighter-ish. Yeah, there we go. Excuse all the motorbikes. It's sunny, therefore it's motorbike season. There we go. I'm going to put the plate down because I'm tipping it over with my hands. So, I've also got this very strange gentleman. He's having a fresh air break outside of the shop opposite, and he's so funny because he got his vape out, started vaping, then looked up, then saw me painting at the window and looking at him, and now is vaping with his back to me. I'm gonna just strengthen this. There's a little struggling there, like that. Now this isn't the lightest colour, I've still got one left. This should be slightly lighter and should give us some nice highlighting. That's not really that lighter. I could do with having a different colour. I've got the blue white actually. That'll be a nice, yeah, there. Sometimes I just like to add some accent colours in that are not quite, like I did with the pink there, are not quite the colour that's actually there, but it does create a nice set of interest when you're working with these colours. Like that. Okay, that's those ones done. And then we have our white. So we've used the blue white down first, but I'm going to use what colour do we want? We're going to use our neutral yellow that we've used at the base. And we're just going to do the same. We'll have a This is our kind of dark colour. And the same, we're just following the shape of the flower and dragging down. I'm also taking it from the bottom of the flower and up as well. I want those darker highlights. Darker highlights, that's almost contradictory, isn't it? I'll do the same here. This one's a little bit further back, so I just want it with slightly more darker colours. Then we're going to add back in our blue white. Try not to get it on the yellow side. I'll hold the board a minute because it's bouncing a wee bit. So I'm just grabbing, dragging down, pressing quite hard just because I want to get really nice solid colours here. And then some lines where we've got the edges. Just curling that edge, the outer edges in a wee bit, just to give more of that shape of the tulip. Like that. The same here. And then we actually have our lightest colour, which is obviously the white. Bear in mind, I've got a lot of pastel down already, so I'm not going to get much of this, but I don't want much of this. So I'm just using it on the front petals and not the back petals, so that I can really bring out this white. Now start to get some of this frilling in just by edging with the white where those are. Like that. We do the same on this one. So we bring more of the white in at the front. And we're just accenting some of the edges here. We're going to do the same with these lot. And pick which one of the colours I want to do that with. Purple, probably this one, just because it's a slightly different colour. We're just adding in lines, and that helps shape the flower as well as give people something to look at more than just colour. Just like that. The same on this one. Just gonna, because that's the edge there, I'm gonna follow that edge. Same with that one. So you can see there now it's highlighted the edge. So the dark contrast between the light there suddenly brings that darker out and makes it actually look like there's a slit there, an entrance to the inside of the flower. Same with this. Then we'll do our yellow. I'll find our light one. Is that our light one? I think so. Yeah, well, lightest one. That's our gap there. I don't really see the edges on that one, so. Like that. Just want to highlight that edge there, and then where we've got the kind of end here, like that. It's not like, I'm not outlining the flowers, I'm just giving them a bit more shape. In case you're worried that it's starting to look a little illustrative or cartoony, you can see quite clearly it's not looking cartoony at all. Right, and that is the tulips done, which is pretty good going. Right. Now, let's do something about these leaves, shall we? I want to try and get the flowers and foliage done before I tackle the vase, just because the vase is quite complicated because of these stripes and lines that will give it its bellied out shape, because this is more bulbous here, and then it kind of has almost a flat shoulder here before then fluting up along with the arms that you can't see, and obviously this comes down and back out. So, and then of course once that's all down and I put the vibrant turquoise behind it, it will just bring everything forward, and it will just all come forward and just zing. Or at least that's the plan. Don't always assume that everything's always going to go to plan, because it doesn't. But on that note, we will take a look at some of these flowers. I've just got some reference photos that I've been kind of using, just to kind of give me some ideas. Yeah, right. Now I do want to keep the shading in this good, because I need to be able to do that to give it just not necessarily a 3D effect and a realistic effect, but just to kind of pull things forward and push some things back, in theory. Yeah, there's plenty of artists out there who paint florals like this, in this kind of way, and are doing it with acrylic, and I can tell you now, acrylic is so much easier than pastel, because once it's dry you can slap another colour over the top and it doesn't matter. Whereas with this, you have to think a lot more about your layers and what you're putting down. So, obviously we've got these beautiful dark green leaves here. And I want to bring, so it'll be dark as it bends in along the top and lighter at the end. So that's what we're going to go for. I haven't really got any dark greens down here, which is a little annoying. Kind of like this is like the darkest colour. So I'm going to do that. I am going to add in some accent colours, because you know me. Why colour it the colour it's supposed to be when you can add in some fun? So I've got some oranges, I've got my turquoise. It's nice to be able to get, if you've got a background colour that isn't going to be the same, it's nice to be able to get some of that in. You take that down where this line is. What have we got here? This is the lighter colour, which I'm just going to edge in here. Got a very angry fly in the window, which is not helping. Right, I'm going to bring that one down there as well. This is what we're watching. This is the lightest part of the leaf right here at the front. And we have this, which is our beautiful green, which we're just putting in over the top. It doesn't matter about it blending, I just want it to blend by itself. I'm not really fussed. I want this line down the middle, like that. And then I want to bring some of this line back. I'm going to be doing what I did with the previous painting, is I'll be adding an accent colour around the lines just to kind of bring it out more. So I'm not too fussed about where that's going. I want nice strong blocks of colour. Now I want to add an accent colour. I've got lots of different colours going on here. I've got more of a peachy orange. I've got a very orange. I've got a reddy orange. I've got some of my purples, violets, and the teals. Now, this is a blue-green, so I'm thinking actually it'd be nice to have something that is contrast to this. So maybe the peach orange. No, actually, let's go with the dark orange. Let's go with the dark orange. Oh yeah, no, that's nice. Just follow the darker edge here and bring this down. Gives us some really nice contrast there. Doesn't have the board batting everywhere. I'm just going to grab this, just stop it moving a minute. This bit here is the middle. It's kind of like the heart of the leaf there, so I'm going to put like that. What do we think? That gives a really nice colour. Yeah. I think actually this orange might make a really good accent colour. So let's have a look and see. So let's follow, that's our line. And then like that. What do we think? Oh, I like that actually. That's made that really gorgeous, and although it's standing out, I think once I've got the rest of the leaves in, it'll push it back against these flowers. Right. I may want to still darken this section here. I haven't actually decided yet, so I'll come back to that one. But I want to get some nice kind of cool to warm colouring on this leaf. So we've obviously got our gorgeous blue in. We want to kind of get that down a wee bit. So we want it darker up here, and then I want it a little darker at the edge there. I'll just bring this round. And then this is it's a little bit more green. You can just see that there. So bring this down to the tip, to there, maybe there, like that. So I want to I've got my teal colour, which is the same colour as that we're doing for this, so it's that colour. So I'm going to bring some of that in, like that. Is this our green? Yeah, this is our darker green. Or we put in some of the blue-green over the top. Like that. And again, do I want to get some of the orange in? I don't know. I want that one to be quite dark at the top, so we'll get some of the madder in, which is the dark red. Remember, we're following the shape of the leaf, so we're coming down. And like that, I'm going to give this one an outline with the darker colour. I don't want to keep it to the orange. No, we're going to keep it to the orange, just because I really like it, and I think it will work well on this. Like that. Hopefully that's making sense. I'm going to get some of this blue over the top of this brown. I'm going to go up. Like that, right. That's better. We know again, this one's darker because it's a leaf that's facing us, but it's, if you imagine, so imagine the leaf facing you like that and the tip is curled up like that. So that's what we've got here. So, slightly different premise because it's darker along the bottom here. Like that. And then obviously with our beautiful green, which I'm just going to bring down and into the brown. And it is blending, but that's kind of what I want anyway. Like that. Yeah, the mud is a really strong colour, so I always have to be really careful when I'm using it so that it doesn't kind of take over. That's me just reinforcing the madder. And then again, going back to our orange. Keep losing which one of the two I'm using because one of them's brighter than the other. I think it's this one. We want like that. Kind of makes sense. I might add, what have we got here? We've got that peach colour actually. Wondering, just add a bit of that in with the green. Bring the green over the top. Like that. Just gives it a little bit more character. We can rub out that. Now I want to do this one. This is again another one where it's going to be darker on the inside, but this leaf is over the top, so I've got to be careful about that. So I'm working out which one of these, whether this one's going to be that one versus this one. Oh yeah, nope, that one. So the more neutral, darker colour we've got here. Just going to put that under there. I'll lay it down a minute because we're going for a walk. It doesn't matter if I go over the orange lines because I'm going to redo them anyway. This one's on top, so it's going to be quite a dark coloured leaf then. At least some of the way. Just getting in there close to these leaves. and then bring this down, finding the edges there. And the same on this side. Like that. Right, it is a darker leaf, it is further back. Again, probably going to use the madder here to give us that darkness. It's going to be darker, quite dark in this corner here. We'll add in some of our nice orange as well. Like that. That's better. Okay, so we don't want to go bright like we have with the blue. We do want to add like one of the bright greens in. Wondering if this one's gonna, oh yeah, that'll do. Don't like this line that's created here, so I'm gonna go over that and just hide it a wee bit, like that. Right, again, we'll use our accenting colour. We're gonna go back over our line here, just because we really want to make sure that that's bold against this. We've got our line, just kind of here. And then we've got the lines here. What I might do is, rather than put an orange line down here, I might come back over with our white and create another line over the top of the leaf to show, it will just help show that the flower is on top of it rather than underneath. Right, now this one's on top of this one, so I really want to get a nice orange line in there. I'm just going to hold the easel. Really make a thick orange line just to kind of bring that out and bring that forward. What do we think so far, guys? Yes, when you see this, I will have colour adjusted it because it's very blue on the camera. This is what it is in real life. It's a lot warmer. Right, shall we do this white? It's a very soft white, so it might struggle to get over this. Oh no, managed all right. I'm going to go back over this because it's over the top, like that. What is it? Yeah, that's better. So you can see the flower now looks like it's over the top of the leaf, which is what we wanted. Right, we're going to continue on our leaves. I want to continue on the green, the darker green ones. Well, not really darker, are they? They're just more blue than they are darker. And again, this one's behind this, so yeah. And this one's behind, so I'm probably going to make that one more like this one. So we'll do this one first. Just shift all my colours around. That's the madder. get some of this brown in. That's more of a grey than a brown. Now, this one does come down and under this one, so I just want to make sure I get that. Okay, that's good. That gives us that depth. I'm going to come back to these oranges, but not the red. What do I want to add? I know. Oh, so conflicted because I'm like, what do I want to do? I want to add the madder in. I really want it darker for a couple of different reasons. The first being that it will make the purple tulip really stand out, and secondly, the leaf in front of it is super vibrant, so I want to make sure that they both stand out in that high contrast. And some of the orange. Like that. And then I just want to bring in some more of this green and just push the green back up so that it's got some headway, and we can just make sure we can get some really nice colour going like that. Just going to blend some of that madder in because it's a little dark, and then we will add our orange lines in. So the first one being is the centre line. I'm just going to do that. Yeah. See what the camera can see. Can't see it quite in the same way I can. Like I said, it does show up very dark on the camera for some reason. I do like that. That's come out really nicely. Okay. I do wonder though if I should put in a stronger orange block. Like that. Maybe it's the same on here. It's a bit better, yeah. A bit more orange. A bit more orange. We're going to go back to our blue-green leaves. Got our grey-brown. That one's in front of that one, but behind that one. So I want to keep both of these fairly light. If I make them too dark, it really is just going to cause a lot of problems. Especially because they're so close to each other. once I've done the leaves, it'd be good to go back over the flowers and just get some of that, the line work in a bit more. At the moment it's just fairly chunky lines, but I want to get some thinner ones in. So that's that one. And then we've got this one, so we're just going to come up. And the stalk is, we're doing the stalk actually, so just greening the stalks. Like that. I want this one to be ever so slightly darker, so I'm going to add some madder. Not much though. Doesn't matter if I really lose the stalks a little bit, because we can play on that later and it won't matter too much. Because I've got green to add in on the stalks anyway, so. Right, now what I want to do is, I want to bring these oranges in. I decide, not use that, so I'll leave that off to one side. More of this sort of orange. And then bring some of this green back in. Like that. Bring some of the orange in down here. Oh, I like that. I like how that's worked out. So we've got our kind of line, and then a line there, like that. So that's a nice darker one. This one's lighter. I'm going to be adding some of our blues in, I think, to this one. So we've got our darker grey blue, which is this one. And then we've got our teal. As well. Bring some of this down here. Bring this up a bit. Like that. Look at that. Go away. Right. And then our favourite lines. Purple's annoying me. I really want to get some more of these little lines in. Like that. It's better. Not perfect, but it is better. Kind of losing this bright green, so I really want to bring this back. So I'll start with our blue-grey that we've used in these, just to give us something a bit different at the bottom here. Trying carefully not to touch the madder here because it will get everywhere. Like that. And it's lovely. And more of our beautiful turquoise. I'll just bring this in down to the end. So we've got this gorgeous colour here. That point. And then we'll bring some of my super lime in. Like that. And that gives us these gorgeous colours, look. Smooth them out. Where's my orange? I'll do the lines. I'm not going to do... Yeah, really like that. That's lovely. I think I need to do this one though. This is our darker one. Bring some of this back in. I feel like I've lost too much of it here, maybe. I've lost a lot of it in this one. Don't want to lose too much of this because it's such a valuable colour, because it's the base. So, because I can always go back over my orange lines. I'm not precious about those, but I need that. I need those greens. And there's that one. We'll do the same with these greens as we've done with this one. Find my cloth, let's go in. Icky colours, right. So we want our blue green, that gives us our shadow. There. And down. And I've got some of our turquoise. I've got to be very careful about where I'm putting this. Bear in mind that this is also the colour of the background. And you don't want the two quite crossing over, because that will, at the end of the day, cause issues. Same on this one, except the darker patch will be on this side, opposite side, because it's more hidden by both the leaves, this one and this one. So That is our grey blue. Here is our teal. And then we've got our lime, which just finishes it off nicely. Smoothing out the line. It's a very, very soft pastel, this lime green. It's a Sennelier from the Half Pastel Special Edition set, and it's a lot softer and less dry than the ones if you buy them individually. But it means you've got to be very careful about how much you put down, because otherwise it literally just disappears. Right, we're getting there with the foliage. That's what I wanted to see. Or at least feel like I'm getting somewhere, which would be nice. Sometimes you kind of get to the point in a painting where you're just like, oh God, this is just going on forever. And that does tend to happen when you're doing still lifes. Just because foliage can be, you do the flowers are the exciting part. The foliage is not. But this is why I add these additional colours to the foliage, because it's exciting. Look what happens when I just add this, Suddenly you get all this vibrancy, you're like, wow, look at that. Suddenly your foliage is not boring anymore. I want a little bit more of a point now. Just press that in slightly like that. Orange. And we have this green one, which is quite dark. It'll be darker because it's behind both of these. So I get right in tight there. Down to there. Hunt out a suitable green. Bring that back a wee bit. We'll add some of our orange in up here, which will just help balance the colours a wee bit more. Like that. Right, so that's the lower leaves all done. So now we need to start working on these upper ones. I know that I want to keep these the bright ones, so I will continue with those in the same manner. So we use a blue-grey just to give it a bit of shadow. But it doesn't need much. And then a bit of the turquoise. There's no rhyme or reason to where I'm putting things. I'm just looking at the shape of the leaf and going, where do I want to add highlights? Where do I want to boost a colour or boost a contrast? Just have fun, really. Like that. Where are we going? This one? I haven't decided what's happening with this one back here yet, which is annoying me because that should come down to there. Like that. Because that cuts in down behind that one. And this one comes up and round like that. Yeah. And back onto this one. So here's our grey blue coming up. Don't want too much because I want to maintain the vibrancy. And it's obviously darker down here, and then put this grey back in. Don't want to lose the stem here. I mean, it won't matter too much. Like I said, I've got the green to put on anyway, which will help. That's thinking that comes down to there. Got our turquoise. I want to come close to the edge, but not too close. And then our bright green. This green will play off really lovely against the orange that we're putting in for the line work, but also against the turquoise. Like that. Do I want more? Yeah, let's add some more. Let's bring this down to here. Just bring more of that in. It's better. Just lightens that leaf a little bit more. Do the same with this one. So here's our grey blue. A bit stronger on this side. It's just catching that other leaf. Our blue, which a fair bit of actually coming down into this. Just make it a bit stronger, like that. Fingers are dirty. Well, fingers are not dirty. Fingers are covered in pastel. And then our beautiful rich lime green. This isn't the colour that we use for the undercolour. It is brighter, which is why you can see the difference. And go back with our orange. Like that. Right, so we just have these slightly darker green leaves to throw in. I just want to add more of that green back in. Maybe I'm using too much of it on these leaves. Let's see. Does that look a bit better? And a bit more green, which is kind of what we wanted. Right. And this is where it gets a little bit more interesting because I don't want to go too dark. So this is our kind of dark green. Well, it's not a dark green. It's a neutral dark green. So it's more like an olive colour, but it can act as a really good shadow for this one. And the same down here. I'm not going to add too much shadow because I do want these leaves to be quite bright. Same here. Just like that. Then we come back in with our green, which is the main green that's already down. It just helps brighten it. Yes, I know, it kind of sounds stupid really. You put the dark down and then you're trying to brighten it. Yes, I am. For good reasons though. So I want to bring in these colours. These do the same, aren't they? I think so. This one might be slightly lighter. Only by a little bit. Oh, right. This is where I want to bring some more of our orange in. Like that, just adds that little extra touch, so puts it kind of a mid-range tone, not dark but also not as light as our really bright ones. These have lines down, these ones. Yeah, okay, right, I can go back over this. Just reinforce bits that might have just disappeared, not intentionally. Same with our purple. And then of course, what we hadn't been doing yet, which was our yellow. Is that right, it's yellow? I always get them so mixed up when they're in here and they just start getting dirty and it gets really hard to kind of find. Oh dear, now the cat's joined us. Hello Ava, what are you doing? Hey, come here, what are you doing? Oh, come here. Nope, she's like, oh, I know what you're gonna do. Come here, don't do that, come here. Yeah, come on, out you go. Shoot. The good old water spray bottle works every time. Right. What more have I got to do? Not too much more. I might add some more of the highlight of the teal into the leaves, but realistically, I want to get the teal down on the background because that will help bring everything forward. Because at the moment it's a bit of a dark mass, but that's because this will help. See, almost instantly. You can see how bright that's going to be against everything, which is what we want. Please excuse all the banging and noise. That would be the trucks delivering. For those of you that live in the UK and maybe it's gone outside the UK to the national news, but we have been affected here in our village by the co-op hack, as we like to refer to it. The staff have been really lovely, but unfortunately it's affected their deliveries. And I know a lot of the UK news has been covering it based on the more remote supermarkets. The co-op has a number of, well, the co-op's more prevalent in Scotland than it is down south. It is a very Scottish store at the end of the day. And it just annoyed me that the news was saying, you know, how it's affected all these remote villages out on the islands and blah, blah, blah. And we're sitting there looking at our shot going, well, we've been affected too, and we're top end of the central belt, so we're at the start of the highlands. And it's kind of like, guys, please don't forget about us. We've been affected as well. We're on the mainland. Hopefully it'll be sorted soon though, because at the moment I can get tampons, I can get chocolate, I can get crisps, I can get some fruit and veg. I can't get any yogurts, cream, butter, cheese. I can get some bread, however I'm celiac, so that does cause fun and games, but I suppose we've been quite lucky that they've been able to keep a lot of the celiac stuff on the shelves, mostly because there aren't that many celiacs in the village. Yay me, more choice for me. And I don't think most people would stoop to eating celiac bread when they get stuck. I don't blame them. It's not fun, really. Necessary, but still like cardboard. Bread is just too hard to replicate, unfortunately. I'm not worried about where I'm smudging it or smudging the orange. I'm just trying to make sure that I get enough of this colour down. And you can see the difference there. The leaves no longer look so dark and look so awkward against the background. They're kind of almost lightened up because they're now blending in with this much lighter background. And for those of you that are curious, this pastel, if you've noticed, it's relatively square on the ends where I've not been using it, but if I do it like that, you'll see this is indeed one of the Ohuhu pastels. So if you get enough practice with them, you'll know where you can use them. The disadvantage is they don't go very far. They are very, very soft. So on sanded paper like this, they get eaten down quite quickly. And also they're not as opaque as some of the more heavier pigmented pastels, like the professional ones rather than the cheap ones. And because of that, even when I'm lightly blending this into the paper, it's still probably more transparent than if I'd used one of the turquoises from, say, the Snellier set, which is a favourite turquoise of mine. Unfortunately, I have run that pastel out, so I need to buy another one. It's probably one of the only few pastels that I will actually rebuy specifically that pastel. Otherwise, generally, I like to just pick and choose my pastels, because I know that when you're looking on a website like Jackson's and you buy individually like I do, you don't necessarily know, especially as I don't keep the wrappers on any of my pastels, I don't know what they are. I just go for a colour that looks the same as on the website, and if it turns up and it's a slightly different shade, never mind, it's still good though. It's also better for you to practice like that anyway. It stops you kind of relying consistently on the same colours, which can become sometimes a bit of a problem. And you often find that you'll get a lot more stuck on your paintings, and your paintings will start to look a little flat because you're using the same colour all the time. Look at that. So you can see half and half. It looks completely different with the lighter background on. I think mentally I'm avoiding the work on this jug, and I know I'm going to have to do it, but I'm just not looking forward to it. And yes, that's my own fault. I picked the pattern. I created the jug for this. So it's a completely made up vase. So it's my own fault. Right, there's some tiny sections of blue up here. A lot of people think, well, why would you bother? But actually, it really matters because these little triangles of blue really do help. That's another one going down there and back up. How are we looking? Keep going back to the camera to check and just make sure I'm going in the right direction. And the answer is yes. Yeah, it's definitely not as vibrant as my turquoise. I don't know if I've got any left in the tray. I might get some out and show you the difference between the two. You know, I want this to have a nice contrast and be pleasing to the eye, not literally knock your socks off when you look at it. Like I said, if you're following along and having a go at this, don't worry about going over the lines with the blue. Remember, you'll be going back over it, so it doesn't make that much difference. Oh yeah, need to fix the stems as well. I knew there was something else I'd forgotten. It doesn't take me long to forget, that's the problem. I get so caught up in all this fun. If there is anyone watching who is either going to be in Scotland this summer or is fairly local to the top end of Perthshire, you'll be able to see quite a few of my floral pieces at the local Dunkeld exhibition. Hopefully, if I can get all the pieces made in time anyway. Still struggling. Took a trip to the out of hours doctor at the local hospital over the weekend, still having issues, unfortunately. It's just a waiting game now. I'm still waiting for appointments to see specialists. Some have got longer waiting times than others, and that's what's probably causing the problem, but I'm getting the help and support I need and enough drugs to keep me going for a while. Right, let's blend this lightly in. Like I said, this is, because it's an Ohuhu, it's not particularly pigmented and therefore it's kind of a bit transparent, which is why I scrub that first layer in, because it helps make this less transparent when you then go back over it. Right, how's that looking? That is looking significantly better now with the blue background on. Now, is this the colour for the vase, or is this? It's really hard to tell half the time. Yeah, no, that's the vase colour, and we are using one of our bright yellows that we've got up here for the ground, and it will set the vase off, in theory. Not that you can see the shape of it. Like that. I'll cut in a lot more there and up here to make that more of a cut, I think. Like that. Yeah, that'll do. Now I need to make sure there's enough of this down before I blend. Reason being is yellows have a habit of being a little bit more translucent than some of the other pastels colours, and what tends to then happen is if you don't have enough pastel, it's not enough of the yellow down, and you go to blend it, you basically blend it into nothing. So I'm just going very lightly with my fingertip there. You can see it just, you can see the paper through, you can see some of that colour tone through. It's not the first time where I've actually had to use fixative to get enough of the yellow layers, or switched to using a pan pastel for this, especially as this is just a single colour. It's easier using the pastel and fixative. If I'm doing something a bit more complicated, like I did with the tiling, I'll often switch to pan pastel there, because obviously if I put multiple layers of this down, what I don't want is so many layers down that I then can't put the patterning over the top, which would become a bit of a problem. Right. So that is the yellow. It's looking a lot more vibrant. I think hopefully you guys can see the difference now. And then we're going to put another layer of this down. This is an Ohuhu. Bear in mind that for the stripes, I'm going to be doing the stripes with pastel pencil, because this is too hard to do with a soft pastel. The lines on the jug are just going to be too small for what we want to do. So yeah, you can see it is a similar colour, and there's a very good reason for why I've done that. The stripes are going to be in red, I think. I've done them red in the sketch, but I don't know. I keep thinking maybe I should do them blue, like a navy blue, but I'm worried that might be a little too dark. I mean, it is a nice colour. Navy blue does tend to go with gold, which is this kind of colour, better than red. So I don't know. Thing is, once I've got it down, it's not exactly something you can change. What's the shoulder coming in? There's the arm. And I will be using a bit of fixative on the jug, just so that the pastel pencils stand at least a little better chance of getting in there. It's a little bit misshapen, isn't it, this jug? I keep calling it jug. It's not a jug, it's a vase. Even though it has handles. So surely if it has handles, then that means it's a jug. It's a debate for you lot. Leave comment in the section below. If it's got handles, is it a jug or can it still be a vase? And if it's a vase with handles, why does it have handles? Let me know. I've got a line there that I didn't want. If you find that you're getting lines because you've come along an edge somewhere very close, rubbing in little circles helps get rid of it. Just want to bring that in a little bit and take that out. And then bring the yellow back in. There's just something not quite right with that edge I wasn't happy with. Now I've added blue to it. Nice. Well done, girl. Sometimes I'm my own worst enemy. I fiddle too much. And sometimes that can make things worse rather than better. Right, anyway. Make sure I've got no more blue on my fingers, and we'll work on this jug. Now, I'm not too worried about getting perfect lines. Reason being is that where I need perfect lines in order to get a crispness, which is quite hard to do with pastels, I will use a pastel pencil, and I probably will for the outside edge of the jug, just so that I've got a nice line. Remember, I usually do my shadow work for, I'm still calling it a jug, aren't I? For the vase. Determined to call it a vase. No doubt you guys are now going to correct me and say because it's got arms, it is a jug, but there we go. You know, you kind of lose it slightly in the yellow, and it just helps crisp it up against the blue as well. I'm going to need to find my sketchbook and find the design that I created for the pattern on this. I can just about remember, but yeah, I think it'd be slightly better if I actually followed a reference that I actually created for it. There. Right. We're just going to go, oh, do you want to go over the flowers and leaves? No, I will on the sky, it's not the sky, on the background, only because I will forget. And I've already forgotten again about the stems. Need to do that. This just helps bring out anywhere where the blue's smudged into it slightly and therefore we've lost its definition. It's always nice to make sure that the orange is really crisp on this blue because it's such an important part of the contrast. How's that? Is that better? Oh, just a bit. Like that. Now I need to bring the purple line in up there because I haven't got it at the moment. Like that. And the yellow, which weirdly enough is also the yellow I've been using anyway. So we need that one there. That one there, and this one. Ooh, that's a bit smudgy, this one. Completely happy. That's a bit better. Yeah, that's a bit better. Righty-ho.